Next speaker is Lee Hall. Lee is entering his 34th year of coaching, his 21st year as high school head coach, his 8th year at Homewood. Coach Hall also served as assistant baseball coach for 9 years at Central Alabama Community College, where he and Coach Larry Giangrosso, known as Coach Gino, started the program from scratch. He then served as the assistant coach recruiting coordinator at UAB for 3 years before making the move to high school coaching. His greatest joy in his 34 years of coaching, specifically his last 21, has not been the wins and losses, but rather the opportunity to help prepare his players for life beyond high school. He has been married to his wonderful wife, Leanne, for 30 years and has 4 children, Carson, who is 26, Josh, who is 25, Abby, who is 22, and their late blessing in life, Jay Thomas, who is 10. And he's got a special assistant today. Y'all welcome Coach Lee Hall.
Appreciate you. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right, guys. Man, this is awesome. I think we're doing maybe a first ever. I've never seen a father-daughter combination up on stage, so we're really excited to be here and talk to you guys. But the first thing I need to do is I need to get a little audience cooperation, okay? If you stand, I want you to remain standing, okay? So first question is, if you have a daughter, please stand. Great. Okay, if you are married, please stand. Great. If you are dating someone, please stand. Awesome. If you have a son, please stand. And if you are a coach, please stand. All right, Abby, it's accomplished. 100% of these guys are here to hear something that can affect and impact them and their players. Agree? Agreed. All right, y'all can sit down. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to start off just by saying this. Over my 34 years, I've had an opportunity to speak at several of these events and even had the honor to speak at the National Convention back about 10 years ago, which was unbelievable, sitting in front of about 4,000 guys. But today is my greatest honor that I've ever had to stand on the stage to speak because I get to do it standing beside my daughter. And I'm so humbled and thankful for this opportunity. I hope at the end of this talk that you'll join my mission to not allow chivalry to die. And I'll talk to you a little bit more at the end of the talk about that. You know, all of us are going to leave this convention with something to make us better coaches. I've been taking notes and notes and notes for 2.5 days now. And we're all going to walk out of here and we're going to go back and we're going to be better coaches and we're going to make our players better players on the field, teaching them some of the things that we've learned. But the reality of that is this. Most of our guys don't go and play anything past high school. So whatever you go back to teach on fundamentals of fielding or hitting or pitching or whatever it is, at the end of their high school career, it's really over with. But what Abby and I are going to talk about to you guys today is something that you can prepare your guys for a lifetime to help them get off to a great start and to be great husbands and fathers. This mission for me began 22 years, 161 days, 9 hours, and 13 minutes ago. And if any of you guys have a daughter, and the day she was born, and the day you put her in your arms in that hospital, and you looked in her eyes, your life changed. And that's what happened when I had my daughter. Abby's had a profound effect on my life. And it's just made me want to be a better coach, a better husband, and a better father. I'm going to let her talk a little bit. This is my not my wife, my daughter, Abby Hall. Go ahead.
Hey y'all, my name is Abby Hall, and I've had the blessing and the privilege to watch my dad live out this mission and this ministry as a coach. And I mean, you've been coaching since the day that I was born and beforehand. He's moved me around all throughout the South, been moved about 9 times, and went to about 6 or 7 different schools. And every single school that we went to that he coached at, he left an impact on. He didn't care as much about the wins and the losses, but what he cared about was making a difference in these men's life, which then overflows into the effects of the girls they date, the girls they marry, the fathers they become. And this impact has carried throughout my life. It's made me really hard to date anyone and choose someone to marry because of the influence that he had and the standards that he set, but I just praise the Lord that he did. And one of the things that he's going to talk about is his list, which you can all see, of his top 10 ways to treat a woman. And this list has made its way all around the South, including people that he didn't coach. And I mean, I was in church last year in college, and some boy whipped it out of his pocket that he carried it around of a reminder of how am I supposed to treat someone. And you'll hear from 4 of my best friends. I lived with all 4 of these girls whose my dad has impacted them, has impacted their boyfriends, their fiancés, and now husbands on how they should be treated and how these guys should be treating them. So I hope y'all get a little glimpse of the impact that he's made over the years in so many people's lives.
Awesome. So there's the why, right? The why. Why would you do this? I mean, we got so much going on. We're teaching classes. We're managing 3 baseball teams probably in your school. I mean, there's so many things that we're trying to do, right? And we're all trying to win games, okay? But so why do this? Well, at the end of everybody's season this year, there will only be 7 coaches in here that will stand up and hoist the blue map, right? And you're going to have an end of the year banquet, and you're going to talk to your parents, and you're going to talk to your players about the great season that you had, or maybe you didn't have a great season. I've had a 5-25 season. I've had a 5-21 season in my career. But at the end of the season, you want to be able to talk about these things. You know, and one of the catchphrases that you hear coaches say all the time is, we want to help them become the best men, husbands, and fathers that they can be one day. But have you ever thought exactly what are you doing in your program to teach them these things, to be the best husbands and fathers one day? I mean, what are you doing? I believe you have to have a teaching model and real conversation with your players in this area. I don't think it's something that you can just assume by them watching the way you act that they're going to learn how to treat a woman or how to be great husbands. You all have a system. We've heard several speakers talk about your system. What is your system in your coaching philosophy? I think, why not have a system for how you teach your players of how to treat a woman? So the how. So how do we do this? And what I'm going to do is just kind of talk to you guys about how we initiate it in our program each year. I always do it homecoming week, and that's because, and I always do it with all the players in the program, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. I want everybody involved, whether they have a date or not. I want them there for that big meeting that we have the week before homecoming. Okay? I'd like to do it at the beginning of the year because it sets them up, for homecoming dates. And a lot of the freshmen, it's the first time they've ever really had a real date. And I also like to set it up because at the beginning of the year is because they've got Sadie Hawkins dance coming up where a girl might ask a guy out. They've got prom coming up. And they might have some dates during the school year. So I like to do it at the beginning of the year to set the tone for their school year. We kind of set it up by, I bring them in there and I show them this video. Well, the video today has a little bit of extra twist to it for some of you coaches out there today. So I'm going to just show you guys that. Perfect. Thank you.
She's more than just a pretty face in a late night bar, more than just a pair of tight jeans sitting in your car. She's more than a last call kiss or a one night stand. Remember, boy, you weren't the first to hold her hand. She's somebody's daughter, she's somebody's everything. She's somebody's little girl, even if she's grown up and moved away. She's somebody's whole world, she's somebody's baby. And if you don't treat her right, hers won't be the only heart you're breaking. She's somebody's daughter. Her daddy bought her her first car, taught her how to drive, scared her senior prom date under that porch light. Her mama wiped away the tears from my first heartbreak and said, honey, he ain't good enough for you anyway. She's somebody's daughter, she's somebody's everything. She's somebody's little girl, even if she's grown up and moved away. She's somebody's whole world, she's somebody's baby. And if you don't treat her right, hers won't be the only heart you're breaking. She's somebody's daughter, she's somebody's daughter. She's a picture on a mantle up above a fireplace. She's pigtails blowing out candles on a birthday cake. She's a driving off to college, tear in her mama's eyes. Yeah, she's a daddy's girl, better treat her right, 'cause she's somebody's daughter. She's somebody's daughter. Yeah. She's somebody's whole world, she's somebody's baby. And if you don't treat her right, hers won't be the only heart you're breaking. She's somebody's daughter, she's somebody's daughter. Yeah, she's somebody's daughter. She's somebody's daughter.
Awesome. So the how. We'll show the video to them, and then we'll pass out Coach Hall's top 10 ways to treat a woman. We'll set it out in front of them. We'll go over each one in detail with video, and that's something I kind of added this year. Abby kind of mentioned that with her friends, that added a little extra thing to it this year, which I absolutely love, because it gives the guys a perspective of what the girls are thinking. Then we do note cards that we write to their date/girlfriend, because some of them it's just a date for homecoming, but some of them it's somebody they've been dating for a while. And we have to try to help them. We do appreciation notes throughout the fall, so they're kind of learning how to write notes. But when they start having to sit down to write a note to a young lady, instead of just telling somebody thank you, it's a little bit different. So I'll put keywords on the board. I'll write down full sentences that will kind of help them out of what they might want to say, just to kind of help them out on that. So I have them write a note card, ask them to give me their date's name and their mailing address, and then we do. I tell them your date is going to be receiving a letter in the mail from me, and in this letter that I write them. And I will share this with you guys, any of you guys that want this stuff. I'd love to help you out with it. I'll put the top 10 list, because I want the young ladies to know what we talked about and what they should expect on their homecoming date with their boy. I have some special instructions in there. We did something a little bit different this year. At the very bottom of the letter, I asked the girls, hey, when you get this letter, here's my cell phone number, shoot me a text, I want to send you a video. And Abby and I did a little introduction video about the videos that they're going to fixing to watch, and it was the girls that you're fixing to see, and it was what the girls talked about each one of the top 10 ways. And I wanted the young ladies to have these videos to see, because I want them to understand what they should expect in a date. Okay? I also have the lyrics to the song Belovedness, and I write to them about the challenge to build a portfolio. Those two things I'm going to let Abby cover, but those are two things that are real sweet to me. Belovedness, the song Belovedness by Sarah Kroger, is really special, and Abby introduced me to that song a few years ago. And then the challenge to build a portfolio is something I've been challenging my daughter for a lot of years. So I'm going to let her kind of talk about those two things.
When I was in this small group throughout college, and my mentor is actually the one that introduced the song Belovedness to me. But as a guy, they want to be respected. Men want to be respected. They want to know that they have what it takes to lead a family. They want to know that they aren't a failure, right? A girl, their greatest and their heart's desire is to know that they're beloved, to know that they're loved, to know that they're cherished, to know that they're fought for. And really in this day of age, while, I know y'all aren't girls, and the ones that y'all have daughters and y'all are around high school girls, they're covering themselves up with makeup and wearing things that they shouldn't be wearing, because that's how they're trying to earn their belovedness. And, you have to be able to find that inwardly. However, I do think that training and teaching these guys of how can you show a girl that she's beloved, that what is so important isn't her outside beauty, but it's what's from the inside, and it is how the Lord made them and knit them. And so this song, I just would encourage all of y'all to even look up the lyrics of it. So powerful, and it has such an impact on my life. And my dad just super harping on show a girl that she's beloved, that she's worth it. It's just so important. And then the other thing he talked about, his portfolio. This is just what he says is like a journal and a note of like, go on dates, mark the things that you love about a guy, mark the things that you don't like about a guy. And the guy should do the same thing. My dad and my mom have always told me, you're never going to find a perfect guy, and you're never going to find a perfect girl. You never will. However, those foundational things are important, and I always joke, and you'll hear me say this in one of the videos, but I dated a couple baseball players in high school, and one of them took me on a date, and my dad's peeking out the window, and he didn't open the door for me. And my dad texts me, and he goes, strike one, but it's like, I want the door to be opened for me. And so just building that portfolio of, okay, this is what I want to be done, what's right. And y'all don't want to teach y'all's player to be the guy that I just used as the example of what not to do. So, yeah.
Perfect. Any of you guys that have daughters, I'm not sure where your faith is, but my faith has been to pray every day for my whole life for Abby, and for her to meet a godly man one day that would be her husband. And, she just got engaged about a month ago, and it's everything that I have prayed for. So it fit all of her portfolio. She can go back now and look at all the positive things that she found on dates. And I won't say Noah got 100% of them, but he's probably up in that high 90%. And so it's pretty rewarding to see that as a dad. All right, let's see. So on Friday morning, we're going to have the players tell their dates. You need to go by, this year it was the athletic office, because I couldn't be there. I had to drive a field trip. So I set everything up the night before in our athletic office, and our athletic secretary took some pictures for me. But I buy flowers for the girls. I do something different every year, but this year we bought flowers. I have a friend of mine that's a florist. She made flowers for each girl. And I set up the flowers in the athletic office. I put their note cards with the girl's name on the front, and everything was just set up for the girls to come by before school and get. And to see those girls' faces and to walk around all day long with their flowers in their hand, it just makes your year, honestly, as a coach. It's pretty neat to see. But they are so excited about it. I've got just a little bit of video. I'll show you kind of what that looks like. And then special deliveries. And I have been all over, probably been to a lot of your schools or to your girls that go to your schools' houses. So our guys will have dates with girls that go to other schools in the surrounding area. And I personally just deliver those to their home. Or like this year, we had like 5 guys that were taking girls from Vestavia. So I called the front office of Vestavia, told them what I was doing, and they said, sure, bring it on by. So I brought it by the school, and then I had the guys text their dates and say, hey, make sure they know that they have a delivery at the front office at Vestavia High School. But I mean, if it's just one, I would just usually go like at Mountain Brook or John Carroll or wherever. I just deliver it to the girls' house. I mean, when I was at Northview, I bet you I spent 2 full days delivering all over Circle City and all over the surrounding areas to girls. But that's just something I like to do. You know, everybody can do it a little bit different. So here's a video of how it was set up and some of the girls coming by. And this is the song Belovedness.
You've all your fear and all your self-loathing. You've all the voices inside of your head. You've all the shame and reproach of your failure. It's time to own your belovedness. You've owned your past and how it's defined you. You've owned everything everybody else says. It's time to hear what your Father has spoken. It's time to own your belovedness. He says you're mine, a smile when I made you. I find you beautiful in every way. My love for you.
Great. So here are the top, well, before I say that, I'm presenting to you guys in these top 10 ways, and y'all are watching these videos as if y'all were athletes, if y'all were the baseball players. Now, most of you guys are married or dating someone. It's probably a good reminder to you of how we need to continue to treat our wives. And you guys that are courting young ladies right now, dating someone, probably a good idea for you to take these things and maybe help strengthen that relationship. And before the season gets started, I would suggest this to you guys. I like to try to do this every year. Try to find a weekend before you get going 100 miles an hour for that first official January 20th practice day. And find a weekend, if it's just one night, take your wife somewhere and get away. Write her a note, buy her flowers, tell her how much you love her, how much you appreciate her, because we can't do this without them. And it just helps you get off to a great start before you get really, really busy in the spring. Okay.
All right, rule number 1. When you are spending time with her, make sure that she has your full attention. Make sure that you're sitting with her, listening to her, and you talk to her. Just sitting next to her, not having a conversation or on your phone does not count. Don't text or Snapchat while you are spending time together.
So I run a test with our guys. I tell them, don't be on your phone when you're on that homecoming date, and I'll shoot some of them a text. And if they respond, I'll say, you just flunked. So it's pretty funny. So they all get together and say, man, if he texts us, do not respond to him. Okay, so here's our first girl talking about number 1.
To me, this one is so special because one of my top love languages is definitely quality time and words of affirmation. And so when I'm spending time with someone, there's nothing that is more frustrating to when they're distracted on their phones or not fully listening. Because as girls, we want to feel seen and heard. And so when I'm saying maybe something that I'm passionate about or talking about my day, if you're distracted, to me it shows that you don't care and you don't want to know the things that I'm going through or that make me special because I want to know the same things about you. And so that's why when you're having time together, it is such a gift. And so you want to soak up every single second. And by giving her your full attention, it shows that you care and that you want to grow in knowing her and learning what makes her unique and to build a stronger relationship.
Okay, great. And remember, I'm showing these to high school boys because I want them to know what the girls are thinking. All right, number 2. Be a gentleman at all times. Open the door for her, hold out your hand or arm for her, and allow her to sit first at the dinner table. These are signs of respect and common courtesy. Also, offer a firm handshake to her father and look him in his eyes and assure him and mom you will take care of their daughter on this date.
Number 2 is one I could talk about for hours. There's nothing more important than the respect that a man has for the girl that he's on a date with, and there's nothing more attractive than seeing that respect come into tenfold. Whether that is letting the girl sit first at the dinner table, whether that is the guy shaking her father's hand the first time that they meet, or opening the car door for them, it doesn't matter. That is the most attractive thing that a guy can do for a girl. I could laugh about this because my dad is Coach Hall. And I went on a date with one of his baseball players in high school. I know, bold move. And my dad watched his player not open the car door for me, and the guy didn't get a second date. Not because of that, however. That was a little bit of a red flag, and I considered it, my dad considered it. But the way that a guy demonstrates respect for the girl and her family is one of the most attractive things. Okay, rule number 3, be polite and be complimentary. Women like to hear please. They like to hear I am sorry, even though I know that's hard to say. They also want to hear how's your day going, and actually listen. I mean, I'm a 2nd grade teacher, and I talk about how do you listen. Like, how do you listen? You make eye contact. You're nodding with them. You're listening with them. Tell her she looks pretty. Tell her that she's special. Words matter so much. And I think that is something that our world has lost a little bit of. You need to know how important your words are, and they hurt or they can make. And I mean, I've heard this. Obviously, I'm not married yet, but the words of your wife or the words of your husband, they hold more weight than anyone else in your life. So.
Yeah. And the young lady, she starts off just real briefly. Hey, when you take them out on a date, be nice to the people that are serving you at the restaurant. I mean, show kindness to people, because that is attractive to your date, that you are going to be kind to people and not just her.
I'm going to be talking about number 3, which is about just kind of using manners and saying please and thank you and you look so pretty today and that sort of thing. I think in the culture that we live in now, a lot of times we go day to day and we don't even encounter this in our everyday life. I think we go to restaurants and we don't thank our waiters, or we don't say please, or we don't say thank you to even our friends and that sort of thing. You go to the gas station and you get like a soda or something, and you barely even have interaction with you and the person at the register. And I think that's really sad going on in our world. And I think what will really stand out when you're pursuing a girl and when you're loving a girl is if that's never lost on you, not only just to them, but to the world around you. So if you are having manners and being complimentary to everyone around you, that's really going to stand out. And as far as her goes, it's really going to make her feel loved when you're saying please or thank you, or if in a moment you're even just like, I don't even understand why, but I am really sorry for whatever it is, whether she's upset or whatever, it's going to really go a long way, just the words I'm sorry. And I also think something that I really try to live by is that if there's something awesome about someone that is good about them, that stands out to you, and it's not said to them or by someone else, then that's really sad. I just don't think we should go through our life knowing awesome things about each other and not verbalizing that and saying that. So if you're pursuing a girl, that's going to go so far just verbalizing the awesome things you notice about her. So.
All right, number 4, give her thoughtful gifts. Women love surprises. Gifts don't always have to be expensive, but always from the heart. Gifts should never be about the money. It's the thought involved and the reason behind it. It just shows you really care, and she is the one you are thinking about.
Rule number 4 is so important because it shows the girl that the guy has thought about you at some point during the day and went out of his way to make you feel loved and cared for. It can be anything as little as flowers. That's like a minimum of $3. And it makes a girl's world to have that. I know for me, like getting flowers, especially because it's such a small thing, like you go to the grocery store, you get them, it makes the world of a difference in a relationship, I feel like, because it really does show that you're thinking about them and that you want to make them feel so loved.
All right, number 5. Understanding the little things means a lot. A handwritten note, which is a lost art today, and me and my dad are really passionate about handwriting notes. A sweet text, or better yet, a phone call just to say hello, are ways to let her know that you are thinking about her.
Guys, encourage your guys to write handwritten notes. If you do the appreciation notes or not that Coach Mingione talked about, I think you please do that. These guys need to learn the art of a handwritten note.
Hi, I'm going to be talking about number 5, which is about kind of doing the little things like bringing flowers or leaving a handwritten note. I have 2 things that kind of go into my perspective of this. I think one of them is because our world is so digitalized these days, I think those small gestures kind of get lost on us a lot of times because it's so easy to make someone feel loved and seen because you can just shoot them a text and be like, hey, like I'm thinking about you. And that's so sweet and that's awesome. But when a guy is pursuing you, I think coming out of that digital world and kind of going into the, okay, I'm going to go out of my way to write a handwritten note or bring flowers or drop by just to say hey, or I don't know, bring your favorite treat or something like that. That can make a girl feel really pursued and really seen outside of just texting them or even just a phone call to be like, hey, what's up? I just wanted to say hey. It can go a long way. And I think that kind of goes into my second point, which is I think the small things, we think that the bigger gestures are always the way to go. But I'm here to tell you that the small things go such a long way. I mean, I will reread a note a million times over or just stare at flowers in my room if I've been given them. Because those small things really show that you're focused on a person and your pursuit of a person really shows when you're focusing on them, when you think about them in those moments and you think about, hey, how can I make them feel loved with even just this small gesture? But that girl is going to look at that and feel like it was on top of the world. So.
All right, number 6, be a good listener. Have respect for her thoughts and opinions. Listen to her, hear her out, and give great eye contact to her so she knows you're giving her your full attention. Refrain from talking about yourself unless she asks, and even then be brief and put the conversation back about her. Never cut her down, even if you're kidding. No sarcasm. Don't be a JK person. Don't be a just kidding person. It just drives me nuts. And I talk to him about all the time about words matter. Our staff talks to our guys about words matter. Our principal every morning, he says it on our morning announcement, words matter. So don't be someone, try to teach your guys not to be someone that uses sarcasm and then tries to back it up by saying, just kidding.
Number 6 also is so important because it shows a girl that you really respect them and you care for them. And you want to know what their hopes are, their dreams are. The act of listening just gives even more respect to the girl, and it makes them feel 10 times more seen and loved than if you're looking at your phone or you are half listening, looking around. Like, just the having 100% attention on the girl will make her feel like she's on top of the world. Yeah.
Number 7, compliment her on things other than her looks. What are her special qualities? Is she athletic? Is she creative? Is she funny? Is she fascinating?
Okay, so number 7 on Mr. Hall's list is about giving compliments and affirming about more than just the way that a girl looks. And this one is so good because, I mean, everybody wants to be told that they look nice or that they're beautiful. It's not that, but it's just like when that's the only compliment that a girl receives, then they start to think, well, that's what my value is to that person, is how pretty I am or how, good I look and whatever. And so to really make a girl feel seen and loved and valued, you really need to call out the other things that you see in her. If she's great at serving others, if she's really creative, if she's awesome with kids, if she's really funny, to really make her feel seen and valued as a whole person. It's important to point those things out and, to let her know that you see that in her.
All right, number 8, if she gets annoyed or upset with something you did or did not do, apologize first. Don't be stubborn. Speak gently and be sincere. Women are the best at reading sincerity.
Okay, number 8 is kind of about apologizing and owning up when you do something that upsets the girl that you're with. And I just think this one is a huge principle of even if you don't personally feel right off the bat that you did whatever she said you did, or you didn't mean whatever you said that hurt her feelings to come across that way, the principle of I care about you and I value you, so therefore I'm going to hear what you have to say, I'm going to listen, and I'm going to sincerely apologize for how I made you feel, whether I did it on purpose or not. I mean, that's just huge if you really care about someone. And I think just really the main thing that girls want to feel is heard. You sit, you listen, you hear everything that they have to say. And whether, like I said, you meant to do whatever you did or not, or you think that it hurt them or not, you're not the judge of whether or not something hurts someone. And so just being sincere and being I really am sorry, and really making them feel heard and not just brushing it under the rug and being oh yeah, sorry, move on, because you don't want to talk about it, but really sitting and listening. That's just a way to really make a girl feel valued and really feel like you actually deeply care about them.
All right, number 9, accept her hobbies and activities that don't involve you. Even if you're bored out of your mind, talk to her about her hobbies and activities with her. She does have a lot to share about it, and I know we can talk a lot, but don't belittle what she is interested in, even if it's not something that you're interested in, because again, like Sarah just said, we want to feel heard, the same way that y'all want us to sit and listen to y'all talk about baseball. So
this one is huge to me too. Celebrating hobbies and areas of interest that don't involve you or you may not appreciate as much is huge. For me, it's dance, and so dance recitals, that might not be your favorite thing to go to watch ballet, but when you show up and you support, it means the world, because that is something, for me specifically, working year in and year out for. By supporting and asking questions about it, it shows that you care, and it shows that you value what I value. And so, in every area of life, you want to be supported and you want to be seen and celebrated, and especially girls, we desire to feel celebrated. And so when you ask questions, you show up. It means a lot, and actions speaking louder than words. So that's very important, because, you'd want us to show up to a baseball game.
All right, and number 10, I put last because it is the most important, but I put it last so it's the last thing that we can talk to our guys about. We go in great detail about this one. Treat your girlfriend or date like she is someone else's future wife. And I challenge you to go back, you guys, especially you guys that have coached a long time, go back and count and see how many of your high school baseball players married their high school sweetheart. It's probably not very many. I've got 5. This is my 21st year to do high school, and I've got 5 guys that have married their high school sweetheart. So you got to figure that's a very low percentage. So I encourage them, treat this girl like she is someone else's future wife, because most likely she is. I've had one kid his junior year stand up and say, "Coach, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to marry her." And darn, he's married her and got a baby, doesn't he? Yeah. So, but he's about the only one that was bold enough to stand up and say, "I'm going to marry this girl I'm dating, Coach." So we talk a little bit more in detail, and I can share a little bit of other things, but Abby does a great job in her video here.
And finally, number 10, and the one that me and Coach Hall are going to talk about probably the most, and put the most importance on it, and the one that is the most serious to me. And I just have experienced this, have gone out with a couple guys in high school, in college, and the one that is the most attractive thing to me is when these guys do treat me like I am going to be someone else's wife. They don't cross those spiritual boundaries. They don't cross the physical boundaries. And that is so important, because you take a girl out on the first date and you're like, she's going to end up being my wife. Chances are probably not. And if she is, that is so awesome. But there is still a level of respect to treat her like someone else's wife. And you want to be able to sit down and be like, if I knew that that girl that I went on a date with is going to sit down and have to look her husband in the eyes and say all the things that we did, all the ways that I treated her, you want to leave knowing and feeling confident that you treated her well. And I just can't put enough emphasis on number 10. And I know my dad's going to talk about it more, but definitely so important to look that girl in the eyes and not look at her as yours. She's not yours to claim. She's yours to treat. She's yours to pursue. And she is yours to cherish for someone else. Even if it ends up being you, that is how you should think of it.
Perfect. So we're out of time, and I'd just like to challenge you guys to join the mission. And what I mean by that is, let's all build stronger husbands and fathers together. If you would like to be involved in kind of the things that I like to do, if you'll shoot me a text or an email and just give me your email address, I'll build a roster of emails. And next August, when I start kind of thinking and planning how I'm going to do our homecoming week that year, because I always do something a little bit different, I'd be happy to share all my ideas that I'm going to be doing this year, and then you could take, and make it your own, or take what I do. But I would love for you guys to be a part of it, and just think about how many people you could impact to become great husbands and fathers one day, just by spending a little bit of a time during this 1 week. It's because I'm telling you, it's pretty special, especially when the girls. It's just really special. It's a special week. Okay, but that's my email and that's my cell phone number. Would you like to say anything else?
I know that sometimes as you're saying this to high schoolers, because they might not fully understand and they might not fully grasp all that you're saying, but I promise that they hold on to it, and then in the 2 years later when they finally start dating a girl that they're like, oh wait, I actually could see myself marrying her. It's totally worth it, and it's been such a privilege to watch you take your platform as a coach and use it as an opportunity to grow these men into who they are created to be.
All right. What an honor to be up here with my daughter, Abby. Thank you, guys. God bless you.